Last week, it was 5 for 5 on most confident picks, 2 away from sweeping the entire card, and a dog of the week that I gave out on Premium Channel, Ramiz Brahimaj, cashing at plus 250. If you want to see who I'm betting on this week, DM at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. We'll get you into Premium Channel, and that's where I put my biggest bets. I'm going to go through the entire card. I'm going to start from the bottom, work all the way to the top. Let's start all the way down with Simon Oliveira versus Luan Lacerda. Remember, we're in Brazil for this card, so, you know, they're a little rowdy, right? They get rowdy early, too. You go to certain spots, especially in the U.S. I mean, I got to rag on us, right? There's not that many people for the first prelim. I guarantee you there will be intoxicated Brazilians in those seats for the first prelims. So remember that hypes up the fighters, that, gets them to pounce, gets them a little more emotional when they, they're in the UFC and they're in Brazil and the place is going fucking crazy. You got 2 Brazilians here. Simon Oliveira, pretty sound kickboxing, and Luan Lacerda, okay kickboxing, but solid takedowns and very good jiu-jitsu. And I like that Luan Lacerda is trained by Andre Pederneiras. I think he'll give him looks in the, sparring rounds with various matchups where he'll see anything that Simon Oliveira has to offer him. I got to go with Luan Lacerda here, and he probably gets it done on the ground. Is it a TKO or a submission? Let's say submission by Luan Lacerda, first or second round. Julia Polastri taking on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I got to go with Julia Polastri here. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, that's sort of like the matador, right? And then Polastri's the bull. Polastri will just walk you down. When she fought Pupi Godinez after Lupe, had to go to the bathroom in between rounds, she didn't, but she said she did. I don't know if she didn't, but hopefully for Julia, she didn't. She was just walking her down. She was just walking forward, car and drive, staying in her face. It was really cool to see her turn up in a third round against competition that high level. You're going to give her a 39-year-old Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I think she's going to be able to walk her down and beat her up here. Now, Karolina is very mobile, so the side-to-side movement will be a factor. Could this thing go long? Could this thing go to a decision? That is probably likely. But Julia Polastri's got a little bit of pop in her hands, man. She hits hard, and I think she's going to be trying to decapitate the Polish, veteran in Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We'll go Julia Polastri. Valter Walker versus Mo Usman. Interesting matchup for Valter because Mo Usman's big, strong, probably a little harder to take down than some of the previous competition. A Tafa brother, for instance. However, I think he'll be okay on the feet too. He's long, he's pretty rangy. He's got his brother who's a good kickboxer to train with, and he's in this phenomenal shape now. I mean, you've really seen him turn massive corners. You want to talk about improvements? I mean, as far as Valter Walker's game goes, it's night and day year after year looking at him evolve. Let's say he's even better than the last time we saw him, and he can even out kickbox a Mo Usman here. As far as the brothers are concerned, you got to think that Valter Walker has more upside even than Johnny Walker at this point, especially because he's in the heavyweight division, and the heavyweight division not that talent blessed, right? And Mo Usman, being the brother of Kamaru Usman, I don't see him even getting a title shot in his career. Let's go with Valter Walker. A submission's very live, right? I mean, he's been heel hooking everybody. The footnote to add on this is if you try to heel hook everybody in the heavyweight division, eventually you're probably getting knocked out. Valter Walker is going to need to put people down on a hip before going to the heel hook. He's, elected to just do it with his head on the mat. And we've seen people like Gary Tonin, who's one of the best leg lockers in the world, better than Husim Alpajarez, get knocked out in ONE FC, better than Husim Alpajarez based on evidence. You could type in Gary Tonin versus Husim Alpajarez to watch that match. He got knocked out as well doing this. I mean, it's very difficult to leg lock in MMA. Will Valter Walker pay the price at some point? You're laying under Mo Usman trying to fucking leg lock him and you get punched in the face. That is live. I think it's still a mismatch. As far as looking at this for a pick, no brainer. I'm picking Valter Walker. Lucas Rocha taking on Stewart, Nicoll. Lucas Rocha, pretty impressive with the head kicks and the striking. Nicoll, more of a wrestler, grappler, competed at a high level as a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go with Lucas Rocha, but it's a slight lean. Partially them being in Brazil helps me. The striking differential helps me. But Stewart Nicoll's definitely live. He's going to be trying to get these takedowns. He's going to be trying to climb on the back and get this thing over with. This could be a little bit of chaos. I'm going to go with the Brazilian striker who's really shown some talent on the feet. Irina Alekseeva versus Beatriz Mesquita. Interesting. As far as dogs go, Irina Alekseeva being like a 5-1 dog or whatever, don't tempt me with a good time, she's tough, and she's a better striker than Beatriz Mesquita. And so on the feet, you can imagine her kind of biting down on her mouthpiece, talking a little shit, banging it out. And Beatriz, she throws these like loopy, swatty punches. She's not a good kickboxer, but her wrestling looks to be fairly solid. Her double legs have been effective in MMA, and her jiu-jitsu is nasty. She's competed at the highest levels in women's jiu-jitsu. She got her arm broken in jiu-jitsu against Fiona, whatever, the girl's the world champ. She competes at a very high level. So despite me mentioning her getting her arm broken, she apparently doesn't bother her. She looks good in her fights. She should be a lot better once it hits the mat than Irina Alekseeva. But I hear the argument. Irina Alekseeva, did combat sambo, decently well-rounded, decent striker, but there's no like punching power, or there's nothing incredible, right, from Irina Alekseeva. 5-3 versus 5-0 here. 5-3 with better competition, might I add. I'm going to go with Beatriz Mesquita, but, the odds are a little wide. I think that is pretty much untouchable if you're going to go for Beatriz. Beatriz is a -650 favorite. What the fuck? That seems wide to me. Beatriz Mesquita submission, though. That is the pick. Vitor Petrino taking on Big T, Thomas Petersen. Even though, actually, Vitor is bigger than him now. Shit. Vitor blew the fuck up. He's a blimp. His physique he's just a massive dude. And he's powerful. And he's in Brazil. And, Thomas Petersen's going to need takedowns here. I think he's going to not get. Vitor Petrino has more punching power. Now, he loops his shots. There's a way to knock out Vitor Petrino. The way he loops his shit. When he misses big. Right? Some guys, they miss, but they're keeping their head on the swivel. They're hard to hit. Vitor will load up, rotate his hips, whip a shot out there, and when he misses, he gasses himself out. And, the amount of power in the shot, the consequences are high, but also the consequences when he misses, are there. Because if Thomas Petersen even has just a good boxing performance, he can do well against a Vitor Petrino. So, Vitor Petrino, the obvious favorite here, -265 favorite. Thomas Petersen +205 underdog. I got to go with Petrino, but Thomas Petersen could show him a little American grit, bite down on the fucking mouthpiece, make him miss a little bit, keep popping him, keep shooting those takedowns, get him a little tired, try to put him away in that third round. I'd like to see it. We'll go Petrino, landing a big shot, getting this thing over with like club and sub or something like that. Maybe just club, right? Say Vitor Petrino TKO. Jafel Filho is taking on Clayton Carpenter in a tough call. Fucking tough call. Clayton Carpenter's good, Clayton Carpenter, 29 years old. So he's like pretty much in his prime now. And, nice little UFC run. Edgar Chairez in the Contender Series. It's a fucking solid Contender Series win. And then, 2 dubs in the UFC, Lucas Rocha being the last one. And then the Tagir Ulanbekov fight was a competitive fight. And Tagir Ulanbekov, very, very high caliber. I mean, Tagir was 3-1 favorite there. And he didn't look like it, man. That was a competitive fight. You could see the level of Clayton Carpenter is pretty fucking high. And Jafel Filho is going to have his hands full with the kickboxing and the wrestling. Now, in the jiu-jitsu, Filho might be able to make some stuff happen if he can get to the back. He's the Brazilian. He's the one on home turf. He's the one who is the dangerous submission specialist who's been able to, manhandle some people on the ground and definitely capture submissions. He's dangerous everywhere on the ground. Clayton Carpenter might be able to get 2 out of 3 rounds just kickboxing him, kick and move, hit and move. Shout out to Ozzy. Check out Hit and Move gear. Best fucking boxing gloves I've ever worn. Cleto Reyes, close second. I'm going to go with Clayton Carpenter via decision. Really good fight between those two. Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. Fuck, it's another tough one. This is the last tough one, I promise. Fuck. Lucas Almeida, home turf advantage, right? Good kickboxer, but Michael Aswell brings the pressure, high output. The Texan might be able to make it happen. This is probably a close decision. Definitely, if you could tell, not a fight I'm betting on. Lucas Almeida's live for like some bullshit split decision, Yeah. I'll go with him. I'll go with Lucas Almeida. It's a pick flip. Michael Aswell probably just going to find a way to come up short in Brazil, I think it's one of those fights where it's down to the wire. Michael Aswell can't reliably take Lucas Almeida down. Definitely can't reliably strike with him. Lucas Almeida pretty technical on the feet. And let's say he gets 2 out of 3 rounds, but Michael Aswell can make it happen. I don't know. That's a good fight. Ricardo Ramos taking on Kaan Ofli. Ricardo Ramos here, and it's not often you hear me picking Ricardo Ramos, right? I told you guys a long time ago, my buddy, the human backpack Manny Vasquez, choked Ricardo Ramos out in front of Dana White when Ricardo Ramos was being looked at for a UFC contract. 17-7. I mean, he knows how to lose a fight. But there's real talent and skill. Ricardo Ramos, a little bit dangerous on the kick with the kickboxing on the feet. Got submission game, and he's home turf in Brazil. And Kaan Ofli, just kind of basic, a little bit of a basic B, kind of boring, a little old school style. Doesn't really look like a 2025 MMA fighter. So let's go with the ever-improving Ricardo Ramos. Maybe he finds a way to finish this fight via submission. Janata Diniz taking on Mario Pinto. Janata Diniz, big check left hook, heavy low kicks, solid stance, glory kickboxer. Definitely a very credible striker. Has credentials, shown it in the UFC. Bit of takedown defense too, although also that's a good way to beat him, is taking him down, as we've seen. But against like a Carl Robertson, he's able to defend takedowns. Good, competent, and I've bet on him before. Mario Pinto, I think, is special. Mario Pinto is faster, a little bit taller, good at range, also good up close, can keep the hands up tight. Has been rocked on the regional scene, let's be honest, but has shown recovery too. So I don't hate that. I think a lot of people look at him getting cracked, wobbling on the regional scene and go, he's showing bad defense. He's showing this, showing that. That is true. But he's also showing experience and an ability to, be on, I'm going to use an old school term, queer street, because you're not straight. You get it? Okay. It's okay to be gay. It's not what I'm saying. And recover. And I think that's actually very important. I do notice that and equate that in here, because Janata Diniz might crack him. Janata Diniz might slam a low kick in there, but I think the faster kicker, definitely the faster puncher, the guy who's more likely to finish the fight, and the one who has a more well-rounded game is Mario Pinto. Odds are even on this one. Really fun fight. 9-1 versus 10-0. Janata Diniz, the Brazilian. Mario Pinto, coming across to Brazil. Where's he fucking from? What is this flag? London. What? That's London's flag. It's Portugal. Like, that's not fucking London's flag. I know. I've been to London. It's from Portugal. Okay. So by way of Portugal, and they speak Portuguese over there in Brazil, I think he's getting it done. Mario Pinto knockout, or, takes him down. Vicente Luque versus Joel Alvarez. Another good one. You got to go with Joel Alvarez. I know he's moving up in weight. I know that he's up against a real veteran in Vicente Luque, who's a good striker, but Vicente Luque just got mollywopped by Kevin Holland after Kevin Holland just got mollywopped. So it was a brilliant performance by Kevin Holland. Let me give credit where credit's due. But Vicente Luque, 23-11 versus 22-3. Vicente Luque has lost to a lot of the best competition in the UFC. Dare I say a little overrated. And, I might be guilty of that as well. So Joel Alvarez, even though he's moving up in weight, should be able to put hands on Vicente Luque and probably gets him out of there via KO. Vicente Luque, remember the brain bleeds, remember the drama. I think Joel Alvarez is going to put him out. Fast, fucking talented knockout artist in Joel Alvarez. And, Vicente Luque is already slow, and now you got a guy moving up in weight. I actually think the speed's going to be a huge problem here. Deiveson Figueiredo taking on Montel Quick Jackson. Montel Jackson's a lock. Montel Jackson is a solid wrestler, trained at the Olympic Training Center, very high level with the takedowns. And I think you get kickbox with Figgy too. I don't really see any area where Kiggy, Jesus Christ, Mike, where Figgy can win this thing. Hail Mary submission, Hail Mary KO. It's just not likely. Montel Jackson should be able to pitch a shutout here. He's bigger, way bigger, half a foot taller, even more than half a foot in reach, I think. I mean, it's like crazy difference. When you see these guys stare down at weigh-ins, you're like, what the fuck is this matchup? And Figgy's coming off the knee injury, like a bad one, and he had to postpone coming back. So I really believe that I'm like watching this. Anyway, I really believe that Deiveson Figueiredo is at the last part of his career here, and that Montel Jackson is on the way up. So Montel Jackson maybe inside distance, but dominating Deiveson Figueiredo. And I love Deiveson Figueiredo. Shout out to the whole team. Charles Oliveira taking on Mateusz Gamrot in the main event of the evening. And I see all you other cappers out there. You motherfuckers are all on Charles do Bronx. People love Charles do Bronx. Is it because we're in Brazil? Is that what's going on? What about these data points, okay? Charles got flatlined a little over 3 months ago. 3.5 months ago. Just got flatlined, okay? Coming back too soon. Charles, even though he's 35 and 11 is the record, loses to the best fighters in the world, but come on, man. He didn't look that good in the Michael Chandler dub, especially seeing how that aged with Michael Chandler's fucking pitiful performance against Paddy Pimblett. I think Paddy Pimblett's getting a lot better, and there's a lot of credit to give to Paddy, but Jesus Christ, Michael Chandler missing by a mile, getting out-wrestled by Paddy Pimblett is crazy work. Charles Oliveira, never been a great wrestler, down to even accept bottom position. Will throw elbows and it'll be dangerous off of his back, and it's a 5-round fight. But Mateusz Gamrot with a massive wrestling advantage here. And, Charles has shown us, possibility to wilt in the past, He is tough. I don't want to take anything away from Charles. In Brazil, I think he's going to be fired up. He's got big heart. He's a vicious striker. And I think that's his best bet here, is to hurt Mateusz Gamrot, to do damage, knee his fucking body, right? Blast him with an elbow, hurt Mateusz Gamrot in this fight. But Mateusz Gamrot, I think, he's got the cards, okay? Charles doesn't have the cards. Mateusz has the cards. And I think Mateusz is going to be able to use his wrestling offensively, use his clinch work on the fence, and just show the wrinkles in his game. He's getting better. I think he's going to be even better from the fucking Dan Hooker split decision, which is the red flag here too, and probably why the odds are close to even. I think Mateusz Gamrot is actually going to be able to run away with this fight. There is, a risk that Charles hurts him. I mean, that's what you're really looking at. Like, how dangerous is this knife? How sharp is this sword? I'm going to say that it's not sharp enough, and that Mateusz can survive any hairy moments and then just out wrestle him, get back to the top position, get to mount, even get like a TKO. Give me Mateusz Gamrot via TKO in the main event of the evening in a good fucking fight versus Charles Oliveira. I know you're all fans of Charles Oliveira, but the dude just got knocked out. I'm worried about the chin. I'm worried about the gritty durability over 5 rounds. Mateusz Gamrot don't get tired. Mateusz Gamrot don't get tired, all right? He does get hurt, but he doesn't get tired, and I think that'll help him here. Give me Mateusz Gamrot over Charles Oliveira. Montel Jackson over Deiveson Figueiredo. Joel Alvarez over Vicente Luque. Mario Pinto over Janata Diniz. Ricardo Ramos over Kaan Ofli. Lucas Almeida over Michael Aswell, I guess. Clayton Carpenter over Jafel Filho. Biting my nails on this one. I cut him yesterday, but I still got to bite him. Vitor Petrino over Thomas Petersen. Man, those fights in the middle of the card are tough. Beatriz Mesquita submitting Irina Alekseeva via rear naked strangle. Lucas Rocha TKOing a Stewart Nicoll. Valter Walker getting the finish over a Mo Usman. Julia Polastri pitching a shutout again against the Karolina Kowalkiewicz. And Luan Lacerda submitting rear naked strangle Simon Oliveira. Those are my full card predictions for UFC Brazil. Do Bronx, Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. And I'm excited for it. These are fun fights. The cards in Brazil are always fucking crazy. If they're going to France or Brazil, chances are the crowd's going to be insane and the fights are going to be insane. Let's have a good time with it. Doug Funny, my setup is awesome. Thank you, sir. Wifey made the sign. So shout out to Wifey, who is 21 weeks pregnant with our baby. She made it before the pregnancy. And yeah, she did a great job. Shout out to her. What's good? What's good? Can I please tell Patrick Mix to retire? I will not do that. I think Patchy Mix versus Kai Asakura. Patchy Mix versus Kai Asakura. Loser leaves town. How do you not love it? You know? How do you not love it? It's like Chael Sonnen. If I beat you, you leave the division. If you beat me, I will leave the UFC forever. Mic drop. Patchy Mix, Kai Asakura, both are 0-2 in the UFC. Loser leaves town match. That's fun. And a good fight. I don't have any social media. How do I join premium? Robert, I got you. Drop a comment like after this video finishes, and I could just give you T's cell phone number. My guy T runs it. Fucking, gets people activated and all that stuff. Too goddamn busy researching fights and doing the important work, okay? Leave it up to my boy T. Yeah, I can give you his email even. Whatever. You could do it that way. But make an Instagram, bro. Instagram's fun. Did I just get a fucking dono from the GOAT? The Trading Champ in the motherfucking house. Thank you, Trading Champ. Trading Champ, right now, I am going to hop on an airplane and fly to Chicago for the baby shower. This is the baby shower gift from the fucking Trading Champ himself. Thank you. Thank you. From my daughter, my wife, and I. Thank you very much, Trading Champ. Who you betting on this week, Trading Champ? I'll tell you what. For Trading Champ here, I'll give you one that I didn't touch that I literally had in the fucking app, okay? I'll give you... There's premium channel bets, there's the free channel bet, and now there's the Trading Champ bet, okay? You ready? I was looking at the over on Irina Alekseeva and Beatriz Mesquita. Just over 1.5 is like even odds. Over 1.5. Fucking Irina Alekseeva is, competent, right? And this Beatriz Mesquita girl is, I think, a little overrated. So I was definitely looking hard at that one, Trading Champ. If you're not in premium channel, let me know. I'll get you in. I think that over 1.5 is live. Maybe I'll bet on it before I get on this fucking airplane. Thank you again, buddy. Appreciate you. GOAT. Wow. Fuck yeah. That's the man right there. That's the man right there. Lacerda fight over 1.5. Beatriz over 1.5. Walker, Petrino, Pinto, Jackson, 6-legger. What do you think? I think a 6-legger is crazy, first of all. So you're a wild man. I've interviewed a bookie who makes odds for one of these top websites. I won't promo them. Pay me, bitches. But I interviewed him and he's like, bro, if you do a parlay, it's 2 or 3 legs, because once you get 4+, like the percentages just nosedive on those long How many times have you seen a comment, I would have had this fucking 8-leg parlay if it wasn't for, So on the flip side, shout out to my buddy Stone. Stone was able to hit like a 10-legger and got a fucking bag off of it, got a big fucking bag off of it. I think it was 5 digits. It might even have been 6. It was crazy. So I think it might have been 6. I think it might have been like 10 G's. Did I do that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. 5. 6 is crazy. 5 G's. I'll learn to count next time. Off of a big, so that happens, right? But be careful. Be careful. Come on. Generally, those miss. You'll see, like, if you have ever been in premium channel, I do 2 or 3. I don't remember ever giving a 4-legger out. Okay, there was the Hail Mary parlay, but again, it's like small little bet on it, nothing crazy, just for fun, right? You could have some fun with $5, right? You could have some fun with $20. But if you're going to start making real bets, I would say money lines, under overs. You could bet the spread if you want to. I don't normally. And then you could do like, 2-leg, 3-leg parlays. Those are my sweet spot anyway. Brilliant AJ finishes. I click off and see Mr. Finch laying down the SmackDown. Fucking SmackDown. Let's go. I never watched WWE, but I'll take it. It's the fucking SmackDown. Let's go. That's his middle name. My middle name starts with a Q. Okay. Fuck off. I was thinking like middle names for boys. How crazy is this one? Balrog. Benjamin Balrog Finch. The Balrog's like the demon from Lord of the Rings. My wife didn't like it. You gotta have a badass middle name. If you're gonna go middle name, like I'm so used to fighter nicknames, Chuck the Iceman Liddell or whatever. So I'm going, going wild on the middle name. Why not? Especially on a boy. Gamrot can't knock Charles out, and you can't submit him. Charles has different ways to win this one. Gamrot can TKO Charles from a top position over 5 rounds, dropping elbows if he gets to like a mount or something. So I'd push back on that. Not like a one-punch KO. That's not what I'm saying. Dustin Poirier and Gamrot is really good with his hands, and watch out for them. Gamrot's not as good as Dustin Poirier with his hands, but the wrestling's solid. The hands are okay. I think he'll win this one. Dude Bronx is coming through. Godspeed. Godspeed, Joey. A lot of you guys are on it. Godspeed. He's in Brazil. Now's the time. All right. We good? You're at work listening right now? Fuck yeah. Have a good day at work. The OG smoker. Don't be high at work, dude. Save that shit for the weekend. Okay. We're good. We're done. Lord of the Rings. Yes. Fly, you fools. Fucking, I love that shit. I love Lord of the Rings. My wife, I got her a Lord of the Rings painting. It's Rivendell, and it's the Fellowship. It's Gandalf and, Frodo and Sam and Aragorn and Legolas and everybody. And then at the end, like they're walking over the bridge to leave on the journey, right? In Fellowship of the Ring. At the end is me and my wife painted into the painting. So we're major Lord of the Rings fans, okay? Major. I think so we're going to do a baby shower in Chicago for family and a baby shower in California for friends. The friends one, we're looking at like a Lord of the Rings theme. Okay. So big fan. Fly, you fools. Fuck yeah. All right. That's it. I'm out of here. Guys, that's my full card prediction for UFC Brazil. Charles Oliveira taking on Mateusz Gamrot. If you want to see my bets, direct message at Mike Finch Show on Instagram. We'll get you in there, and I'll see you after the fights. I won't be back until Monday. That just hit me. I won't be back until Monday. So we'll see what I do with this fucking recap, huh? But I am flying out today, which is why I knocked this one out early. All right. It's all love, guys. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get up beyond this 10K. Let's fucking push it. Appreciate every single one of you. Until next time, it's peace and love.